Welcome to the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast, where we cover anything related to behavior change that will increase your long-term wellness and happiness. And now, here are your hosts, personal trainer and RNs, Matt and Jenna Lane.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. My name is Matt.
And I'm Jenna.
We both here host this podcast all about implementing behavior change for your long-term wellness and happiness. We're registered nurses, and I'm a personal trainer. Enough about us. Today, we're talking to somebody that I met, a long time ago. That's been, let's see.
Has it been a couple years?
I should have come more prepared. I think it's been at least 2 years now. Yeah, he's shaking his head yes. So, Jared Cook, we're having him on, and I'm very excited about it. So, first of all, say hey to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing today?
So I was on a podcast before this podcast. I co-hosted it, and I kept seeing this guy in the comments, Jared Cook. And, I split off and started this podcast, and lo and behold, he followed me here, and I had the Matt and Fitness YouTube channel, and he's been all in the comments there. He's just always been unbelievably supportive. You've always been in the lives, and I really appreciate it. But I will tell you this guy is not on because he's a subscriber. He's not on just because he's a pretty face. He's on because I think he has some good to give you. I think he has pieces that are relatable. So before we dive all the way into it, Jenna, you got some stuff you need to say?
Nope, I'm good.
Come on, Jenna, do it.
I'm good.
Come on.
If you would like to support us, you can do that on Patreon, and I think Matt will probably put a link in the description.
I will do that. You're getting better. Yes, if you want to support us on Patreon, there's a link down below. If not, no biggie. There's exclusive content there for the podcast itself, the YouTube channel, all that yada yada. Before we dive all the way into the show, we always hit you with our gratitude point.
Gratitude point.
This gratitude point is something that could be small, could be large. The whole point of it is to shift your perspective. When you feel like you're just down and out and the world is melting, and depending on what happens with COVID, it may still be, but there's always something to reach for. There's always something to be grateful for to shift that perspective. So I'll go first.
I'll allow it.
Will you?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. This is such low-hanging fruit, but it's true. I'm unbelievably impressed and grateful for Google. You know, if you have a smart device, why are you smiling so hard? What?
Because usually what Matt does, instead of just pulling out the smartphone from his own pocket, he'll say, Jenna, what's the answer to this? And usually my answer back is, where's your phone?
And that's why I'm glad. That's why I'm grateful for it, because I can get my wife to look it up. No, but I am, when you think about the technology behind that, when you can just go to Google and figure out pretty much anything ever. It's just incredible. And, I don't think there's an excuse nowadays for not knowing how to do something. Like if you don't know how to fix a sink, you got YouTube, which is the second largest search engine. So I don't know. I'm just very grateful for that. Go ahead, Jenna.
Today, I think, especially this morning, I was thinking about, Matt and I had opposite work schedules for about a year and a half, so we didn't have days off together.
Yeah.
And it's made me really grateful for the little things, like just waking up slow on a Saturday or Sunday and just kind of hanging out for a bit and drinking coffee and eating breakfast and just chit-chatting, which is not something that we had for a long time.
Yeah.
So I know it's simple and not really that groundbreaking, but I'm glad we have that time together now.
I think that has to be intentional, especially if you involve kids. If you have kids or anything like that, I think it's very important to be so intentional with that, because we have plenty of excuses to be like, oh, we can't, we got this going on. So I think you're right. So Jared, if you got anything, hit us with it. If not, no biggie, brother.
So the first one for me always is being alive, because with all the death that's going on this week in general, we've had a lot of I think we've had 4 people in a span of 3 days. So
are you talking about near you?
No. I'm talking about just in general. I mean, everyone's dying all the time, but the ones that, a lot of celebrities have died. And of course, people are dying with COVID and other, other things. So definitely being alive today. And then the next thing is just the fact that all this COVID has allowed me and a lot of other people to slow down, especially because I'm a workhorse. So I will work my ass off.
Yeah.
until, my eyes turn blue. And then, I just don't take a second to kind of take a step back. So definitely just taking a step back.
Okay.
Would be something for me as well.
Coming with two gratitude points. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I do this every day.
Oh, perfect.
So
before we hopped on
something that
go ahead.
It just gets me going. It definitely gets my day started.
So before the show, I was like, hey, just so you know, we do a gratitude point. He's like, I got this. So I'm really excited to have Jared on because again, I've seen you in the comments. I've responded to you, and you actually recently just got done doing the 30-day full body challenge through Matt and Fitness, which was awesome because he did every single day, which you're in a small group that gets through every single day. And when you got done with it, I wanted to have a phone call with you to sort of, how'd you like it? What could I improve? What do you think was good? What do you think was bad? And you said something to me that I thought was really important. You said, in the beginning, it was a little easy. Towards the end, like it was getting tougher. But that said something to me because I've had people come and do this 30-day challenge that they're like, this thing's hard as hell. And then other people, it's been a small few, but yourself saying that it's, fairly easy in the beginning. So to me, that said, all right, because I knew you're active. I follow you on IG and I see you all the time, posting stories and jumping rope, doing push-ups, all that. What looks to be like, is it on your front porch?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. See, I follow hard. But I thought that was important to point out that the 30-day challenge for you was not like, I need this as a kickstart. And I think a lot of people that have gone through it so far have used it as a kickstart. For you, it was just an additional piece. And I don't know. I thought that was very highlightable that you were like, yeah, it was okay. But it wasn't a kickstart for you. So I want to dive into why are you into fitness? What level of fitness are you into? Are you obsessed with it like myself? And, I think I know some of these answers, but to give context to the audience, tell me this. Why did you start into fitness? Was there a defining moment? Have you always been into it? What started it?
So I was always active as a kid because I played basketball a little bit when I was younger. And I really wasn't into it that much. Once music came in, I kind of went full-fledged into there. So it kind of stopped once I started going into music. I was still active a little bit, and a lot of that was starting and stopping. And I think this time I was in a really bad place. I was severely depressed, anxiety, going through some personal stuff in my life. And then I actually had just broken up with in a really long relationship. So at that point, I was just like, I need something. And then for the main thing, it was I just didn't want to be back in an urgent care or a hospital.
Okay.
Because I was going there pretty frequently with all the stress and everything. I think I was going maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
Really?
Yeah, for 3 years. So it definitely got to a point where I was just like, I just don't want to step foot in another urgent care for me being sick or anything. I want it to be because I'm asking a question more than that. So, I started working out. And then it actually helped me cope with some other things afterwards because a few months later, I lost my job. I wasn't working for 9 months after that. So if it wasn't for fitness, I don't know where I would be at this point.
Okay.
Especially with, everything that's going on and everything that went on. I had to go full-fledged into something. So
okay.
that was the first thing.
So it was coping. It sounds like. That's fantastic. So, and that's exactly why I wanted him on to talk about it. So, because I could feel that off of him, and I've felt that for a long time, to be honest with you. And I've always point blank been intrigued by what's kept you going. So, and please, you don't have to share anything you're not comfortable with, but I'm wondering, why were you going to the ER as much? Do you think it was like stress? And you said stress, and was it stress induced?
Yes, completely? It was stress induced for. I mean, pretty much all the times it was stress induced. And then, cause it was just urgent care. And then it got to a point where I was going there so much to the point that the doctor was telling me, you may want to change your job.
Okay. Okay.
So that was the main thing. And then, I got the hiccups really bad one time.
What?
So I was just like, hiccups can put you in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it, but it's been rare that I've heard somebody being hospitalized for it. So that's,
it was scary. It was like a 3-day ordeal.
Really?
It would start and stop. And it was to the point I was choking.
God dang.
I don't know if it was a choking spell or whatever, like my body was just freaking out. So that was one of the eye-opening days for me.
Okay. I'm sorry, I got to do this. Matt's ADD moment. There's a drug. Is it Thorazine? Isn't the one for hiccups? There's a drug called Thorazine that you can give via IV, and it actually helps stop that irritation of the diaphragm.
I think that's actually what I got.
Did they give that to you? Really? Okay. Hey, look at that.
I think that, it was, I don't even know. I was just like, I want these hiccups to go away.
That would suck.
My body hurts.
That would suck. See? Yeah. Look at that. Look at that little nugget. That's not something that you hear every day,
Yeah.
I wonder do you think that part was stress induced? Did they tell you that?
I mean, honestly, the doctor couldn't even explain it. I couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
So it was just something that really, it was just like, it just happened.
Okay. I got you. Well, good. That sort of like lays the groundwork for exactly what I wanted to talk to you about, and that sort of like confirms my thoughts. First, you want to get in here? You want to talk about something? You want to put a little something in there?
No, I think you're talking enough for both of us.
Yeah, I know. That's what I do. Okay, so you definitely had like this turning point, which I've found for a lot of people that is the case. That's how it happened with me. I think for a lot of people that is it, which is great. You find your why. We talk about that a lot of what's your reason why. And, your why, talking about you don't want to be in another urgent care. You don't want to be involved in the healthcare system. That is something that's so near and dear to my heart, not throwing any shade towards healthcare, but utilizing fitness wellness, it can keep you away from the healthcare system, because let's be honest, who wants to use the healthcare system if they don't have to?
Right.
So good on you for realizing that, because I think it's a very missed piece, and it's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I think it's a direct correlation between your mental health and your physical health. You were saying that your job was so stressful, and that was your body saying like, hey, there's something wrong. Hey, you gotta fix something.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Do you think that fitness, wellness, I use those terms interchangeably, do you feel like it was more mental or more physical, 50-50?
It was mental. It was really all mental. Because,
really?
With me, I'm an overthinker as well. So like, I'll think myself in and out of situations. And once I got the mental part together, like it was just getting through a lot of the things that I was going on. And once I started doing it, those old doors and the things that I was worried about started to close. And then, obviously I was able to kind of just bask into all of this. Like the physical part really wasn't the main thing, because I think I'm naturally a strong person, but it's just getting there. That was the main thing.
So, and it's interesting to hear you say that. So I think for a lot of people, and you've touched on this in the past, Jenna, that have you struggled to maintain that? When I say maintain, have you struggled to continue to go forward? And as you said, sort of move through, have you struggled with that?
Yes.
Really?
As of recently, yeah.
Okay.
It's been a struggle because I wasn't again with another job that was stressful. But this time I was in my weight loss journey, so like a lot of the stuff that they were trying to do to me, it really didn't affect me. So after all that drama and everything had ended, getting back into just being, I'm not saying being healthy, but I don't make the best choices all the time, and I beat myself up over it.
Okay.
So that's really the main thing.
Understood. I think
right now.
I understood. I think it's natural, and I think it's wrong at the same time, because I do the same thing. But I think it's important for you, the listener, if you're relating to what Jared is saying, which I know somebody is out there, that important piece of beating yourself up, realizing like, all right, look, you probably shouldn't have eaten that much. All right. You don't really need all that. Checking yourself. Don't be afraid to check yourself and be like, look, you're better than that. You need to make better decisions. But harping and beating yourself up and causing anxiety, that does no good for you.
Yeah. I think we tend to forgive other people much more easily than we forgive ourselves.
Amen to that.
Yes.
So, that's what, and I know I've said it several times before, but I try to think about, because I beat myself up over the stupidest things, that if it, I don't even think about like other people do that, because I realize other people do that and it's not even a thing, just everyone's human. So you do things that maybe you probably shouldn't or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's fine for everyone else. But for me, if I make a mistake, I can't forgive myself for it. And then that just puts me in that tailspin. And I think realizing that other people do the same thing has really helped me with forgiving myself, because I don't know why, it just makes me feel, or makes me realize that other people struggle with the same thing, that they have a hard time forgiving their own humanity.
Yeah, it's true. It is. It's very true. It's like it's holding on to the regret piece.
Yeah.
When you're just constantly looking, when you're constantly looking back, you can't progress forward.
Yep.
So sticking with that struggle piece, you've heard me run my mouth for a long time about my beliefs and all that. And I'm not saying pick what I say. For you, Jared, has there been one piece of fitness wellness that's been the biggest piece for you? Was it like the physical piece? Was it focusing on the mental piece? Was it nutrition? Like, has there ever been like an aha moment where you're like, that crap made me level up?
Repeat the question one more time.
No, you're good. Basically,
that's a long drawn out question.
That was a long drawn out question. Okay. Rein it in, Matt. Rein it in. Basically, was there anything particular that was like an aha moment in your journey of becoming healthier, becoming more fit, where you were like, that right there was a good decision, and I'm glad I continue to do that? So for me, really learning the science behind just a caloric deficit and proper nutrition, that changed my physical piece and my mental piece. And that's probably one of the most important things I've found. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. For me, I think, because I was fasting at one point.
Okay.
Beforehand, I was fasting for about a year. So that really helped, because it kind of gave me the mental thing of I don't need to eat that often.
Okay.
Because I'll get into eating tangents if I allow myself to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started fasting, I think mentally it just made me stronger, and that was one of those aha moments. That, okay, this can work.
Yep. I've said it a billion times that, there's a bunch of science to fasting, but for me, I've always noticed such a big difference in my mental game, and it's sort of keeping me clear and on point. It's so much more mental for me than anything, that fasting. So yeah, I relate to that wholeheartedly.
And also, I'm sorry.
No.
Meal prepping as well. Meal prepping is my main thing, because if it wasn't for meal prepping, I'd probably be like 400 pounds right now.
Me too.
So why the meal prepping piece though?
In the beginning, when I first started, I just wanted to eat better. Like I didn't want to eat out, all that stuff, because I would eat out pretty frequently. So I just started meal prepping. I would make food or make something a little bit different than what I normally eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was your videos is what helped me meal prep for real.
Fantastic.
I started using the broiler.
Okay.
Which blew my mind because it made things a lot faster.
That's great. Oh man,
of,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, that was the main thing, was the meal prepping. Because once I started meal prepping, I still do it, even though I'm not working or anything.
Yeah.
Like I'll still manage to get my meal prepping because it's that important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. If you what's the old saying? If you fail to prepare to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me ask you this, because a lot of people with meal prepping, like I've seen it in the comments a lot, like, how do you meal prep? It seems like a very overwhelming thing. How do you? Why do you? Is there anything that you can put your finger on why you continue to meal prep? Because some people are like, all right, I'm gonna meal prep. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cook for a week. They do it one time, like, I did it. And then when the second week comes around, they're like, I'm gonna head out.
I think I keep it simple. Like I like what I like. So as long as I do that, I mean, I'll venture out sometimes, but I like what I like. And then, let's see, another thing. Sorry, it's a little silence.
No, you're good. You got a lot of things. You're good. I'm glad.
Yeah, but I think I just forgot the question.
You're good. I think you were going to make another point of those sort of aha moments. It's all good. If it comes back, interrupt me. Do it. Seriously.
Well, and I think that just to kind of tack onto there, there's no really right or wrong way to meal prep.
Yep.
I think we're pretty similar to you, Jared, as far as like we like what we like. We're pretty simple with our meal prepping. We're not like cooking and preparing and sautéing and all that. It's really just simple stuff, putting the ingredients in the Tupperware and calling it a day. And I've heard, some people say, oh, I couldn't eat the same stuff all the time. But that's just what we do.
Yeah.
Like there's so much variety that you can choose if that's what you need to keep yourself meal prepping. We're just simple. We like the same thing.
Yep.
And it's just easiest for us.
I think it's so for when I speak to clients initially and, introduce to them, maybe meal prepping would be beneficial to them. It seems overwhelming with all the other things that they're trying to adopt. But I always start with this. First of all, figure out what you like to eat. And then just prepare for like one day. Like just prepare for tomorrow. And then once you've done that, prepare for 3 days. If you can string it to 5, string it to 7. It doesn't have to be, an 8-hour cook where you're cooking for a month, cooking for a full-blown month. So again, I think that it's very overblown and overthought. And in the beginning, I did the same thing. But I realized when you're trying to make 6 different types of flavored chicken, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to keep that up.
Yes, it is.
So, and I think to really continue having that variety, just plan ahead, saying next week, all right, this week I did this, so next week I'm going to cook this. Yeah. And then for us, I know it's been monumental is including snacks. That breaks up the monotony. Yep.
Yeah.
Snacking smartly.
Yeah. And I think
smartly?
people, I think that's right.
Nope.
I don't know. We'll say it is. The people that say, I don't know how you have the time to cook all of these meals. I don't have the time for that. But I think our live meal preps have really proven that it's not that much more time. And if you think about, okay, and this is the laziness factor coming out in my reasoning of why I still meal prep is one, if you're going to dirty that pan to cook one meal, you're going to have to clean it, 7 days to cook, every day when you could just put more stuff in it and fill it up and just clean it once and then you're good. Yeah. And that's just a motivating laziness factor for me to keep meal prepping because it it does take a little bit more time in a block, but then you're good the rest of the week.
Yeah, you do the math and you're actually saving time. And when it comes to money, I know we're going off a real hell of a tangent here, meal prepping, but when it comes to money, I mean, I said it in, I think it was 2014, 2015, we spent about $14,000 in, Jesus, Matt, you just mixed up the numbers. In 2014, we spent about $14,000 on food, going out to eat, and all that crap. And then the following year, 2015, we started meal prepping and we spent about $7,000. Mm-hmm. So literally cut the budget in half because of meal prepping. And I did that through nursing school and I was broke as hell. So for anyone out there that says they don't have the time, you're actually saving time. And for anybody that says they don't have the money, because that's always such a common thing, healthy food's so expensive, bruh. You ain't doing it right. You ain't doing it right.
Sort of, but it's not that expensive.
It's not. And it's so going into like the food piece, like sure, it can be expensive. If you go buy, organic blah 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 flambéed.
I knew you were going to say that word. I knew you were going to say it. I was going to say it. It's been picked by, a baby's angel, in Guatemala. Like, sure. But there's ways to do it that can be much less expensive with so much value. Yeah, you can overcomplicate anything and you can, simplify anything. It's really just how you choose to do it.
Yeah.
And I definitely overcomplicated it in the beginning. Like it was hard.
Yep.
It was hard, but I started watching, I think, like I said, watching you and mainly you, because you're the one that really implemented a lot of the meal prep and the lives and everything. So I was able to see what you guys are making. That's cool. Actually, that's why I started eating the beef.
Oh, awesome.
Beef and the, I'm not going to say the sauce because I'm going to mess it up too.
Or the
Worcestershire.
Yes.
Worcestershire. No, now, Jared, now you got to try. Now you put yourself on the spot. You got to try.
Worcestershire sauce.
You nailed it. There's probably going to be somebody in the comments. Actually, it's Worcestershire. It's not the way.
Right.
Somebody's going to say something. But so shifting gears a little bit, and this one's kind of putting you on the spot, and I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this one. There's no right or wrong answer. I think it's individualistic, but what is your definition of happiness?
I could say my definition is being in the present, being happy in the present so that you can start building for your future, because I've definitely lived in the past many a times, still sometimes to this point. But it's reminding myself that once I started thinking of you're alive today, you actually got out of bed this morning, and that honestly gives me a smile. So also it's being thankful for just the smallest things.
That present. Yeah.
Like
the present is a present. I've heard that before. And I know you're rolling your eyes right now, Jenna. But it's, it is true. And that's, I think it's tough for a lot of people to do that. And I myself at times, I'm like, I forget that, if you don't stop and smell the roses moment, it's so true.
Yeah, and I think there's two groups of people I think that have an issue with living in the present. And me, I'm in one group where I really live in the past. Matt's in the other group that tends to focus on the future and not on the present.
Yeah.
And either one of those groups, it's hard to focus on the present.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So.
All right. So tell me this. Has there been one thing in fitness wellness that's been more difficult than any other thing for you?
Really, it's, as Josh Kirsch would say, it's the man in the mirror. It's me, because like I was saying before, sometimes I don't feel like I'm worth it. Like, can I really have that body? Can I really get down to this weight? Or sometimes it's just like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Mentally. So that's really the biggest thing, is fighting against myself, and some of the decisions that I make, trying not to harp on it and beat myself up even further.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the main thing, because I'm the one person that can stop myself from doing anything. So
yeah. Self-judgment is self-judgment is so prevalent. And I think that, not to point a finger or play the victim or whatever, because I feel it's ultimately our responsibility. You know, I'm pointing the finger at myself here. I'm not pointing the finger at you, Jared. We live in a society, though, that is very, I don't know, we breed the opportunity to judge ourselves nonstop based on what others think, which is just so damn wrong. You know, I think listening to yourself is so much more important than listening to what somebody else has to say.
Yes, I feel like it's usually the people that are judging you that also don't have what you're striving for, because the people that have achieved that are not the ones judging you. They tend to be the ones trying to encourage you and coach you.
Yeah.
So I think it is so important to realize who you're giving worth to, the judges, you know, what judges you're giving worth to, because usually they're not even in the same realm as you are as far as trying to accomplish goals.
I have, it's funny that you say that, and this is along the lines of that self-judgment piece, but I've actually lately been intentionally trying to separate myself from all of the influence that I have around me, you know, so listening to certain people or people that you would think would be quote unquote gurus. And Gary Vee had something not too long ago, and he said, how many damn books do you need to read before you go and do? And what I felt from that was, you can only read so damn much before you have to start doing or making your own decisions. And I think that if you lean, and I've said this before, you should surround yourself with this positive things. Like, I think it's good, but don't put too much stock into these quote unquote gurus or people that are doing exactly what you want to do, because their journey is not your journey. Yep. You know, I think they can give you that advice piece, but you have to be able to forge your own path.
Well, an experience can be just as good, if not better, of a
I think
teacher.
better, without a doubt. Anyway, so that was along the same lines as judgment. I got a little bit in the weeds there, but it's true. Jenna, easy. But but it's true that, you know, listening to yourself and figuring out, what should Jared do? You know, what should Matt do? Talking to ourselves, that's more important than whatever homeboy's going to say in a book. You know?
Homeboy.
You got to let the homeboy part go.
Well,
and another, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another thing for me is I don't like to make mistakes. When I guess all growing up, a lot of people made me feel very, very bad about my mistakes, like to the point that they don't feel like I'm a good person because I make mistakes. So I will do everything in my will to make sure that I don't make a mistake, to the point of perfection. I am a perfectionist. So that piece is, I think that's one of the hardest things for me, is just that component of perfection and not wanting to make a mistake.
I know you have something to say to this, but so Jenna, that is, but Jared, so, and you don't have to say who it was, but were the people that sort of made you feel this way or sort of pushed you into that way of thinking, were they very, very close to you? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And it 9 times out of 10, that's where it starts. It's the closest people around you that have good intentions. But so and that makes it even tougher to cope with. Go ahead, Jenna. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to go off on a different subject. So.
Well, take it away.
Well, I just wanted to explore. You mentioned at the beginning that you are into music.
Yeah, I did want to touch on that.
Are you a musician?
Yes. Yeah, so I am a violinist. I actually have my bachelor's in violin performance.
What?
So, yeah, and I've been playing for 20 years.
Holy crap!
Lost track at this point. Yeah, it's gotten to the point I've lost track. I don't know anymore. It's been 80 years, 100. I don't know.
All right, so we talked a little bit before the show about what your interests were, just so we could get to know some of the pieces about you. But good Lord, 20 years. So now I want to be like, all right, so where can I go to hear some of this? Like, do you have?
I have a violin Instagram that
what?
I made. I gotta revamp it. Yeah, I made it last year when I was going through the journey, because I wasn't playing for a while. Like after I graduated in 2014. I was burnt out. I think that's what I can call it, is being burnt out. And I didn't play. Like, any time I would take out my instrument, it was kind of like a bad, just a bad energy, even though it shouldn't be. So I gave it a break. And then when I was going through my journey, I'm like, man, I could really start playing again because I got a lot more time on my hands and I ain't really doing much. So I started playing. Then I thought of the idea of making an Instagram. So I was just, because I started doing this little challenge thing where I had to record myself.
Ooh.
So
yes,
that was fun. But yeah, I do have a violin Instagram.
So you know me. I'm about to go all in on this. So why? So what's the idea behind the documenting that piece of having an IG? Is it just I need this for fun, I need this for therapy, I need this for me? Or are you trying to do something with that, or what are you trying to do?
I guess I'm still at a crossroads with it.
Okay.
In the beginning, it was for me to just kind of get myself back out there because I wasn't playing and I was having a lot of anxiety about recording myself and playing because my technique and everything, because I think about those things, like if my technique is not right, if the notes don't sound right, if just in general it sounds horrible, I don't want to do it. So it pushed me to a point where I was okay with it because I'm like, it's for a good purpose, and it's obviously me documenting that, hey, I'm here, and I want to get to this point. So
what's that point? Do you know yet?
I would love to go back to school eventually, but with the whole COVID thing going on and money,
sure,
that's kind of still in the works. But that I think I want to go. I would like to go back to school and get my degree. And I've been dabbling into teaching because I've been teaching privately.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go into schools yet.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
And that was going to be my next question. So going back to school to get higher education for violining, that is not, that's not the correct term. That is not the correct term. What's the correct term? Because now I feel like an idiot.
It doesn't matter.
It does. It matters to me.
To me, it's fine.
I'm going to call it violining like a moron. Go ahead. So see that really does, that piques my interest because like that's something that, first of all, the violin is dope. I feel like you don't hear about a lot of like violining. It is. It's cool. You hear about the guitar often, you hear about drums, but the violin, that's fairly unique, at least in my world,
Yeah.
In my world too.
Is it? Okay. So yeah, and being an outsider,
I was the only musician in my family at that time up until this point.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, good on you. Yeah, I've always loved music. And the genius in me when I think it was like fourth grade where like the instrument people came in and you could start playing in fifth grade in band. And me being the very unique child that I was like, oh, I want to play the French horn. That looks easy. And I was horrible at it. So horrible. And I tried for so many years and my mom spent so much money on lessons and I was still horrible. But I chose that instrument because it was so beautiful and people made it look so easy, the professionals, but it was not easy. So good on you for staying with a very difficult instrument.
Well, and again, like, because when it comes to like actual instruments, obviously I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but the French horn versus the violin, I feel like you could rock out the violin on the street corner much easier than the French horn. No?
Yeah.
Because the French horn is not very let's jam.
And it's not like a solo.
It's not. No, it's like it's a part of the team. It's not like its own. I'm gonna be over here, and I think of the New York street drummers and stuff like that. Like I don't think you'd be banging out the French horn. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, and it was hard to be in marching band.
I wish there was footage of this, Jenna. Well, so I'm not gonna lie. I hope that, first of all, violining is, if it's good for you, Jared, if it's good for you in whatever fashion that may be, whether that's going back and teaching, whether that's starting an Instagram page and sharing, whether it's whatever you're going to use it for, I hope that you do. Like, again, I don't know if in the recesses of your mind, if you have any sort of piece of views, like, I want to do it as a profession or for a living, like, whatever it is, I hope that you continue to go towards it. I love hearing you say that you started documenting it. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing the reason you were starting to document it is because it made you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
My guy.
Definitely. Because I don't even I won't even listen to myself play. If I record something, I'll just put it on there and go on about my business, because I can never hear myself play.
Interesting.
I will nitpick until pretty much the cats go home. So
that's that perfectionist in you.
Mm-hmm. Jenna knows nothing about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want, I want to, but if you want, I'd love to plug that in the description below. If not, it's all good. If the links are there, guys, you'll be able to click them. If they're not, he said no. Moving on. You got anything?
No, I think it's interesting for me, listening to music, as just as much of a mind cleanse as working out or fitness. It's just a different type of mind cleanse. I think it stops that anxiety with me. That's something that I struggle with. Is that something that you agree with, Jared, or is kind of something similar as far as that mind reset for you, music and fitness?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. If anybody that knows me or really know me, if I can have the worst day in the world, start playing, and maybe for like 30 minutes, and I'm a totally different person.
Really?
So that and then the fitness point, obviously, because of, if you can just do one deadlift of 300 pounds, you'll definitely feel different.
There's something there, Jared. There's something there. I urge you to go towards it. This is me telling you what you're supposed to do with your life. So, no,
you're not the only one. I'm always told that I should
do well, and I say you should do it. Do it only if it's going to bring you what it should. Only if it's going to bring you good. That's why I mean that. If you wanted to plug your socials here, because again, I want to push you. I want to push that violin thing. Let them know where they can find you.
So my regular Instagram, it is jinstapix14, and my violent Instagram, it is my name, Jared, JARRED violin.
Okay. And again, everybody, that's going to be in the description below. Go check this guy out. All right. What do you think? You got anything else? You got the wrap up? What do you think?
No, I think we pretty well covered. I mean, this brings to light, it's not just one thing that you can do to move towards that goal, to work on your happiness, your long-term happiness.
Yeah.
It's a whole realm of things, and for everybody it can be different. So whether it's meal prepping, whether it's fitness, whether it's really, remembering your passion for music, working on all those things, you're a whole person. You can't just look at one specific thing and say, this is what's going to change everything for me. It's the whole thing. You got to look at yourself as a whole person.
Yep.
I think that's been kind of the running theme of this conversation.
I agree wholeheartedly. Well, before we wrap it up, Jared, you got anything else you want to say to the people listening?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Matt and Jenna, for allowing me to be on here today. It was definitely a dream come true, because I always imagined being on a podcast. So the fact that it actually was able to happen, I'm truly thankful.
Hell yeah, man.
And for everybody else, only thing I can say is just continue fighting. That's all as long as you continue fighting for what you want, you're always going to get what you deserve at the end.
Hey,
my guy, what a great ending. Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, it's again low key. I've been following you back for quite some time. And you've always just had this spirit about you that, I don't know, you've had this calm spirit about you that you've always put off. And I've always felt, even when it's through text, I somehow can feel it from you. So we're honored that you wanted to come on. Thank you so much. I honestly didn't know if you would say yes or no. So thank you. I appreciate it. Because obviously this is very transparent. We sort of dug into your life and possibly made you feel uncomfortable. So we did our job. But yeah, seriously, I can't thank you enough. It was a blast. I guess that's going to be it, right?
I think so.
All right. You got anything you need to say?
No.
Come on, Jenna.
Look, for those of, oh no, this isn't going to be a video podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, now that that's if you want to watch this podcast, we have a YouTube channel called the BTYE Podcast. Check it out in the description below. There's always a video version of our podcast. Go ahead.
Matt actually wrote on my list of things that I usually write down that I need to talk about the Patreon.
Got to get you in plugging stuff.
Which makes me uncomfortable because I'm not good with the whole fluff stuff. So if you want to support us, check us out on Patreon, and I'm sure the link is in the description below.
We got to work on that, but good job. Getting better. That's correct. Jared, thanks for being here, man. We truly appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Guys, we'll talk to y'all next week.
This has been the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. We want to thank you for listening and invite you to subscribe to the show as well. And follow Matt Lane Fitness on YouTube. Until next time, you don't have to be perfect. Just be better than yesterday every day.
My guy.